education, politics,
economics, culture, weekly news, a roundup of national news of the week on Renouveau TV every Saturday.
weekly news, the news to English speakers.
Very happy to join with you, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Welcome on Renouveau FM, Renouveau TV. Welcome. Once more, welcome on Renouveau TV. The Prime Minister tendered his resignation and that of his government on May 14 to the transitional president, Mr. Badao Mokhtar Wan, who was immediately reappointed and asked to form a new government with the representation of more politics, but between the demands of the political class and the one of the union and civil society, the question proving difficult to resolve. What is delaying the establishment of a new government? What kind of government do Malians expect? These are among other questions we are going to answer with our guest this morning. The first one is Mr. Dirissa Sidibe. Mr. Sidibe is a teacher of English. Mr. Sidibe, morning.
How are you?
Next to him, we have Mr. Abdullah Tugula, air traffic controller. Mr. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Sagara.
On my right, Mr. the geopolitician, Adama Jabate. Mr. Jabate, good morning.
Thanks, Mr. Sagara, for having me.
And our teacher of English with us, Mr. Alubuake. Mr. Buake, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome, all of you, on Renouveau TV. First of all, Mr. Dirissa Sidibe, before talking about the main topic of the day, can you tell us the event that noticed or that drew your attention the most during the week?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sagara. This week, what was remarkable and for which we paid more attention, I paid attention, is still the strike of UNTM. And wherever you go, whenever you think of the problem, it's very crucial, you know. And in the end, we are afraid, especially the economic and financial drawbacks from this strike. And sincerely, I wish the government and UNTM restarted having talks.
The same question, Mr. Tugula?
Okay, before answering the question, I would like first and foremost to say good morning to your viewers and thank them for their loyalty to Renouveau TV.
Renouveau FM too.
And FM, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the addition. You know, I would say the same thing because no one can remain insensitive to the strike of UNTM, which has brought the country to a situation which is really catastrophic. You know, economically, you know, socially, and in many regards. We just pray God to come to our rescue because we really need His help to draw this country, to pull this country back from disaster.
Did something draw your attention, Mr. Kajabati, during the week?
Of course, yes. Thank you very much. And again, hello to everybody watching and listening. Of course, the UNTM strike draw every and each attention. But I think that it might be just the start. As you have already said, I am never optimistic because I want to be realistic, or sometimes too much realistic. But I think by the end, UNTM will not get what they want because we do not have the means. But the arrogance of the government will get down. I would even say, just because they're busy with what we were about to talk about, the last week they didn't try to join with UNTM. The next week, I am sure they'll do it. Otherwise, the country cannot keep up with this rhythm. It's not possible.
Mr. Bori.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sagara. I'm very glad to have such a good. Okay, you know the point which draw my attention during this week is related to the point of our debate.
So the same point.
You know, the delay of the government.
Okay.
So all the prognostic has been defeated about it. So people thought that it will appear before a week, but up to now we are waiting. So this is the one which draw my attention. The country is ruling without government. That is my point.
Country is ruling without government. First question to Mr. Sidibe, teacher of English. Almost 2 weeks now, Mali has no government. What can explain that according to you?
Thank you, Mr. Sagara. It's sincerely dangerous now, the situation in our country. But before answering the question, I would like have to say this. The Prime Minister's resignation by the President, what did it aim exactly? The resignation. What did it aim? Was it sincerely to have a government of, as they said, big opening, or for inclusive government, or was it a way to do harm to UNTM? That is the question. Okay, whatever case it is, I'm sure there are a lot of problems, barriers to have the new government, sincerely. Anyway, as a result, we are sincerely unhappy. We are afraid. We are afraid. So this is what I can say.
We are afraid. Are you afraid too, Mr. Jabate? Almost 2 weeks, no prime minister, you have prime minister, no government. How to rule the country in this way? Why?
By far not. There's nothing to be afraid of. We could expect this. Because if you remember, just 2 weeks ago, just the next day after the embassy of the United States went out and said that they need an election, we got the chronogram. Motarwan was going west. Mr. Maiga of the territorial administration were going left to say that the problem is that Malians do not understand that we have nothing Malian in our program, our transition, how to do, what to do. We have nothing. We are a country under tutel. And the program comes out. So it's always imposed. If you can follow the sequence of events, we were parachuted this chronogram. Subitly, we got the resignation of the Prime Minister. Logically, you would say that it was because of the meeting the 6th of this month with MSeng RSP. If that was the reason, so they would have had some consultation at least with this force before this resignation and the condition of his reconduction. But none of this has been done. Even worse too, but what can you show you exactly what's happening? The military, the owners of the situation, by the way, they were not consulted, not for the resignation, not for the conduction. Even that brought in a lot of dangerous situation in the country. 2 days ago, for many people were still sleeping, but we were just some millimeter from something very dangerous. But I think that maybe on other occasions we see it. Even that is the reason why still now. It's not because of MSeng, they don't care about MSeng. It's because of the contradiction with the military guys. Because the situation in Mali is living now is called what we call in geopolitics, in French we say la récupération. The first step was just we were training, getting ready for the true fights. And the fight they have set now, because if you pay attention, just 3 seconds to finish, the Malian, for the first time, we were in this situation to try to resolve 6 main questions, as it was shown in the program of the government, right? To try to stabilize somehow the country. So to try to set up a unique organ for the election, to try to bring in the social tissue that is just torn away, everybody knows. But the main program, if you have been following from the start of such called transition, because it's not transition, it's continuation. It's an attempt to reestablish what was interrupted. That's all.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
So now what the West want is just to try to get one president that will follow, do the rest of the business. The rest for the Malian, they don't care. Just election.
Just election. Mr. Tukola, the same question to you. Why almost 2 weeks after new government? What can you explain that for you?
Okay, I think that it's quite simple to understand a little bit, what may be the causes of that delay. Because we all know that, the new, the formation of the new government will take place in the context of multi-dimensional crisis in the country. Be it, on the social fronts, economically and on many other fronts. So it was to be expected that they would try to take time this time, to avoid the mistakes that have been made, in the past, because it's very important. Yeah. A lot of mistakes, in my opinion, have been made in the past, and it's very important this time, for the Prime Minister to correct them, so that at least we can start building something interesting for the interest of the whole nation. And there is also, a problem of casting, because as we all know, in the former governments, politicians were not represented, and I think that there are already some approaches that are being undertaken, towards, MP5, for instance, in order maybe to have some of their members in the new governments, but unfortunately the MP5, is still on its hardline position. And as Mr. Sidibe said, it's a little bit frightening after all.
Mr. Boire,
yes.
What do you think about that? 2 weeks after?
Really, it is very anxious, and there are good reasons for that. Because we need a government there is no government in a moment when we need it the most. So this is the question. So to know what are some reasons why this government is delaying, okay, there are many causes, there are many reasons. Because of a lack of time, we cannot evoke all of them here, but I will try to mention some outstanding for minute one. Yeah. Okay. First of all, the moment. I mean the time, the transition time. Everywhere, transition time is a very difficult time to manage. Okay. So there is this situation, and because the time when one of the enemy of the time is to time it. To count it. So once there is a limit for things, everybody is in a hurry. So this is the reason why that makes things during the transition very difficult. And in addition to this, the second point can be the political situation of the country. This political situation, because of the transition, we need the mutual trust between the different actors. And it seems as if this mutual trust doesn't exist, first of all, among the leader of the transition, and then among the different groupings, political grouping of the country. So all of this can explain the delay of this transition. In addition to this, there is a fear. Yeah, Mr. Sagara, there is a fear because it seems as if people are reluctant, are not willing to join the team, the new government. For many reasons, because there are many questions which remain with no answer. Why the Prime Minister resigned last week? There's no motivation, there's no explanation about it. So the newcomers are afraid. Okay? And there are other questions like the total failure, we can even say that,
of the outgoing government. More than halfway of our transition time, but we cannot notice any change. So this is a failure. So people need to know what is preventing those people to work as we expect it. This is the question, and it seems as if there is a unseen hands behind the shadow, which is really pulling back things so that everything is not working. So all of these are wrong. So this is what I can say.
Mr. Togola, want to react?
Yeah, I wanted just to add a point which to me is very important. You know, the so-called international community as well, which is accompanying or a kind of accompanying our country through this transitional period. Because, you know, the consultations, you know, will not stick to within the country. You know, the partners of Mali also, you know, even if Mr. Jabate do not trust them, you know, they have their say, you know, in the conduct of the transition as well. I think that's, you know, all these reasons put together can explain the delay that we can see right now in the establishment of the new government.
Okay.
Can I add?
I would like
there is a point.
Okay. You see, factually, you see, some barriers. Remember, have in mind the number of portfolios. Would like a very short or a very small number of ministers. And on the other side, you have a lot of political parties and associations. How to, as you said, Mr. Togola, the casting, how could that be done?
Don't forget militaries too.
Yeah, and another aspect, consideration is, will the militaries remain at their strategic and ministries of sovereignty? So, according to some, anyway, some news or information coming side,
some sources.
they are not ready to leave their ministries. And if that is true, so out of 25, 5 are already occupied by the militaries, and the rest also. And it's not sure, and it's not certain that these associations or this group of political parties be ready to share their also the number of portfolios that will be given. That's the question. So two barriers: the number of portfolios to be shared between the political parties and associations and the soldiers.
Military soldiers.
So, I find that, to be honest, this is one of the political crime that they have ingrained into our heads. That when we are in this situation, we don't talk about what to do to recuperate. Before talking about the ministerial portfolio, Mr. Sidiri, we should talk about just the circumscription, what we call country, in which this politics should be operated. We do not have it. One of the main things that shocked me in this situation is that nowadays we are without legality, without legitimacy. No legality, no legitimacy.
Sure.
If I were the transitional authorities, what I would do, it was just to get the main forces of the country. Whatever you want, you need to deal with those forces that are in the country. When you say politicians are good, politicians are bad, okay, we have seen military. No. Are they better? No. It's not politician, it's not military. It's us, Malian, we are bad. We are horrible. Understand? So this is to say that even now I know that they are about to enlarge again the government. I would say 25 even is too much. The U.S. has how many ministers? 13. The biggest country in the world. The larger the government, the less they do. Mali, even 25 is too much. At the start it was about 15. So today I will tell you one thing. I will finish. I will not last for too long. All those talks on TV, on radio, on whatever, it's just to get us aside from the main topic. The main topic is just the only thing that the true masters, because Mr. Togola said that the international community should have its say in our business. It's not the international community should have its say. It's we should have our say. Because the main master is not Mali, it's them. This is why, because the main consultation is not with Bandao. It's with MINUSMA, it's with the Ambassador of France. Even whenever they meet with Bandao, he said, okay, tomorrow I will ask. I will answer. You know what? To give himself the time to call the master.
Yeah.
Because the young military said, we don't want Mokhtar Wan. Openly. The civil society said, we don't want him. So which forces are left again in the country if you are there for this country to reconduct this same prime minister? I put the question to everybody.
Not understandable.
Okay.
It's complicated in a way.
Okay, about the points, about the barriers which are delaying, I think we are still on that. One last point I want to evoke is the current leaders. I mean, the president and the prime minister. Do they have the trustfulness of the people again? Yeah, because if we notice that more than halfway of the transition, there is nothing clearly which really move. So people now, some of the colleagues mentioned the case of sharing of portfolio. But I would say that some people don't want at all to join this team. If we look at the M5 RSP, okay, so they don't want because they don't trust.
They are not confident.
There's they don't trust them, and because the president and the prime minister, they don't convince Malian during that time to show that the duty which is designed to the transition, they are able to do that. So since these people cannot see that clearly, it is really difficult for them to join the crew. As the people used to say, what is the need to change the crew if the driver himself is the problem?
Yeah,
so
but,
this is the case.
But we should have a government. We must.
If people has no more trust on the president and the prime minister, that cannot prevent to set up a new government is not really the same. Because
It's an obligation, a necessity.
Yeah.
This is true.
The president, even if people have no trust on the president, what to do? What to do today?
He should resign.
We have
No.
president.
So for that, I think he has to listen to people.
It's the prime minister who have to put the government in place, not the president.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, they're both.
Yeah, now.
Both.
Yeah.
Both. Both.
Yeah.
Bet.
Okay, go on.
What you're saying, would be the case in a normal country. But we all know it's an open secret that we're no longer an open country. It's as if Mr. Jabate said, the country is being remote controlled. We can see through, all the things that are going on that, the appointed or the reappointed prime minister, is not free to do whatever he wants. If not, normally he should be given the green light, to form, freely his government. But it's very clear that he's not free from his choices.
The prime
so
minister?
he should, for sure, the prime minister. Even the president, they are just there as puppets. I'm sorry to say so. But that's right. My personal impression. It seems that, they are just there, as puppets, that are, whose strings are being pulled from somewhere.
So who is deciding at their place now today? You can
Internally, first of all, I can say without any risk of mistake that, I would say the military are still in control. That's why I don't know whether it's substantiated. It seems that when Badao decided to reappoint the prime minister, the military members were not happy at all with this appointment without their being consulted, And I think that's, for someone who has followed, the developments in the country, you can understand that it's plausible, this piece of information. So, they are just there for the sake of it, but they are controlling nothing. That's my personal impression about it, you see.
So who are controlling now?
Internally, the military are still in power. They are pulling strings, and internationally, outside abroad, we all know who's controlling.
This is a rare situation when I convene with Mr. Togola.
Yeah.
So it's a pleasant situation. It's just to say that exactly what we are living now is because, as you said, first the military were in control. I want just you to make one parallel, very similar. They are twins. The situation with the 2012 situation, the situation they manipulated Sanogo to get rid of Jara, and the next instance we got the situation with Django Sissoko, and the 10th of January you got what? The French military inside here, right? Now the first step of the transition is out. France need to get rid what you were turning around. I want to say openly, they need to get rid of the military guys, right? And now the promise whenever Bandao go to France, when he comes, he takes big steps. The first term when he returned, they started to implement the Accord d'Alger. Our I don't know how to call it. Our nightmare, right? This time. Because look at him, how he's revigorated. Now he's brave. No, the military do not make any threat to him. Why? Because they have been given guarantee. Mokhtar Wan, people say he's. Can you tell me, he's someone who's been working since Moussa Traoré's time? He's one of the record men in the government. Can you show me one realization? No. And by the way, if by the end of the regime of Moussa, he was how to say, Moussa was about to try to get him rid of him because he was by the how to say Malian
the president
intelligence services that he was related everything that will happen in the presidency to France. We know each other here in Mali. You understand?
Yeah.
So this is exactly the problem now. The task for France is what? Get rid of the military. We don't care about RFP because we had the money manual, and then we get the replacement of Ibeka. The show must go on. That's all.
The show must
I think that in this effort, the one to be blamed, I don't talk about the military, I don't talk about France or over remote, but I'm talking about the president and his prime minister. Since the beginning, do they choose the right man in the right place? This is the question. So because I said that the transition is a limited time. So
did they free to choose the right man and the right place
at
that
not
time?
Free, what prevents them from coming and telling that? So this is the question. So since now, if we can see that things are not moving, we can notice that the right people are not chosen on the right place. And there are many people who, it is not because there is a lack of the right people in Mali, but the political situation is preventing some of them to do that, because according to the treaty, if you figure in the government, you have no right again to be president. And there are many people who are competent for this to ruling this transition, but the aspiration is to look for the president.
Oh, okay.
Position.
So for some is due to the position of the M5 RP. For some is the negotiation with the militaries. We have many reasons that is delaying the setup of this government. Second topic is what type of government government Malians are expecting today, Mr. Jabate? What type of government?
I think that the Malians have nothing to expect because they're not, they're not in the field. Malian, nothing, I will tell you, I will deceive you once again. Nothing will come from this that will satisfy Malian. Be ready, because anybody who is politically a little bit awakened, he will never accept to get into this government. I agree absolutely with M. Senghara SP. You never in politics, never. You don't call me, come and we will try to rob the country again. When you want to do something, you call me, we debate what we should do. We agree the program, and then we choose the right person. You cannot choose the right person if you do not have the right program, because the program determines which kind of people you need. This is the situation we're living now. You asking him, just he needed the reason of the resignation. I will tell you just in one word. They needed to get rid of the pressure of the obligation that Mokhtar had to two people, Imam Dicko, who proposed him to the military, and the military.
Sure.
Exactly, that's the geopolitics. Do not look for far. And now he will be absolutely free. He will have only one master. The traditional master will be Bandao. The true master, you know where he is. He's very far from here. That's exactly. So don't wait anything good from this, because they do not. The decision is not even taken at the level of Bandao.
Why we cannot say no to this power that is abroad?
Because of the corruption, because of the reason I have always kept talking to you here, that we are not in democracy, but we are in a manipulatory anarchy. You understand? Democracy is, you know what, I agree with Nelson Mandela when he once said that whatever a present that they prepare outside and bring to you without your participation is going to be poison for you. If democracy was applicable in Africa, the West will never let us have it, because whatever comfort Africa will discomfort France.
Yeah.
Let us be honest and true, and let us wake up. We are pretending we are called
not
to
only
be the
France,
intellectual of this
not
country.
only France, but let's say Western.
No, the rest of the France is the commissioner.
Yes.
If you remember, after this Cold War, France was charged from Africa. There were a division when there were confrontation between the Soviet Union and the West. France was this is why France is acting now in every country, Lusophone country, Anglophone country. You have not you pay attention to this, and it was given the favor to France. Whatever you do it in Africa, we are going to close our eyes on it as far as you don't let the Soviet Union enter. That's what just the political partage of the world.
Okay.
Yes, and it still continues now.
Okay, Mr. Bouare, what kind of government? What type of government Malian is? Large government, a narrow government? What kind of government Malian need today?
Okay, so I think that the size doesn't matter. Wide, short, big, or this doesn't matter. But the one which can really answer to our expectation. And those expectations remain the same since as in the first days of the transition. So nothing has changed. So there's like to install the security, like to equip our country with a document, with a constitution, which can answer to the population aspirations. So this is one of the elements, and also to finally to give at the end of the transition, to give a president which can be the choice of Malian. So those claims, since at the beginning, the same claim of MSM RFP are still up to date. So we need a government which can still face to them, which can deal with them clearly.
Mr. Silive, what type of government Malian need today, and what can be its priorities?
Okay. I would like to tell Mr. Jabate that these leaders outside Mali, but first, we Malians, we should be responsible for our destiny.
Yeah.
Whatever happens around us, we should be responsible for our destiny.
Take our
This is why
responsibility.
we must have a government. And according to the situation, that is the transition, we need a government, but for a small size. because of, in regards to financial restrictions. That's very important. And once we want to set up a government, we would like this time a government according to the situation.
Government of the mission.
Everybody knows what Malians are expecting. First, what do we need? We need men and women who can solve the following problems. Reinforcing security. Even if Mr. Jawate thinks that is not impossible again. Maybe you know me more.
Yeah.
And to reinforce security. For what? And another is to be able to organize elections. But I don't like having all these elections from communals to... I would like two main elections. Parliament members and presidents. You see? And something is on the way now. Who can organize these elections? That's a big debate now.
Okay.
Whether it is a ministry or they are talking about a special structure now, which must be set up also to organize, on which partners don't agree. And so, I would like to resume.
Okay.
We need men and women able. They are available.
So the government of mission.
Yeah, the government of mission.
That's what we need.
With missions also determined. And first is security and peace, if you want. And then organizing elections.
Okay.
So that's the two priorities for this.
Okay, let's go to Mr. Air Traffic Controller, but here he controls leadership of the country. So, Mr. Togola, now what's government Malian needs today?
Okay, thanks very much for the question. I'm just, I appreciate the optimism of Mr. Sidibe, even though I do not share it. He's talking as if, this country is a normal one. And, it's not that we are pessimistic, but to tell the truth, the populations are disappointed in the political leaders of this country. That's why, you will ask the average Malian his expectations, about the formation of this government. They will tell them that they have serious businesses to deal with than to talk about that, because they are disappointed. Personally speaking, I expect nothing from the former government. If it would be exactly the same thing, be it a bigger one or a medium-sized one or a smaller one, it remains the same thing.
But Mr. Togola,
as they say,
it's not easy to get solution if we are pessimistic.
The problem of our country, we all know about it. It's a very, very, very complicated, even more complicated than you and me and all of us can imagine. It's very, very, very complicated. So anyway, if we could expect something from them, it would be naturally, the reinforcement of security, the reinforcement of our educational system, which has been down for so long, the organization of a fair and free elections and stuff. But really, are they really able to do the job? That's the big question.
Okay, that's the big question. Now, last round, we have just 2 minutes left. Mr. Boire, your last word. If you have something to add to what he said, and just your last word.
Okay, as a last word, I will just say that I'm not so pessimistic as some of my colleagues are. Really, I think that it is possible to overcome the challenges. The challenges of this transition. Because people used to say, united whatever challenge, we can face it if we were united. And now the leader have to understand that they have to avoid the mistake. We have to be ourselves. I mean, even to forget about some chronograms, some imposed time. They don't need to speed up things. What must be done, they have to do it properly and to take the time to do it.
Okay.
This is what we need. And I will say united, we will win, and divided, the country will we even not fail, but the country will collapse.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jabate. We have just 1 minute left.
Yeah, but I think that the problem is that we want to treat an ill person without the right diagnosis, which is, I think, that is impossible, to be honest. You talking about election, setting up a unique organ to make election where? Do you have a territory to have election?
We know.
We do not have.
We are aware of that.
We don't have a territory. We don't have anything. And why are they hiring us up?
Just our last question. We have 1 minute for all of us.
Okay. So why not Malian people wake up and say, okay, nobody is going to give a time context. We need two things for the stability of this country. The election brought the crisis. I want to set up anything that can guarantee a true new election. Be this 9 months, be this 2 years. This is our country. Why not go this way?
Mr. Sidibe, last word.
Okay. I won't say to be optimistic or pessimist, but what is true is we should do something. We should. And what Mr. Jabate said, we all agree with you. Mali is a specific case, but we have to show that we have to prepare our destiny.
We have to prepare our destiny, Mr. Togola.
Okay, last of all, I would just say that this country has all that it takes, in terms of resources to turn things around. But the problem with Malian leaders in general and even ordinary Malians is the lack of patriotism. That's very, very, very important.
Okay.
Unless we have this, we
lack of patriotism, so we should be some more patriot, according to Mr. Togola. This morning we were talking about two topics: why the establishment of the new government takes time. Second one, what challenges for the new government. These were the two topics we were talking about. With our guests were Mr. Drissa Sidibe, is a teacher of English, Mr. Togola Abdoulaye, air traffic controller, Mr. Adama Jabate is a geopolitician, and Alou Boare, teacher of English. We've been very pleased to be with you today, and we hope to be together next time at the same channel, the same time. Thanks for listening.
Weekly news, the news to English speakers.